Thank you. Thank you for coming in this rain. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Singaporeans. Let me start off with high cost and housing. You know, the government looks at household size. This they shouldn't, because they should look at and they need to look at per income capita. For example, say a middle income household earning $5,000 who has to pay $1,800 every month to the HDB for their HDB loan. Is this fair? This household also has 2 teenage boys who are studying in secondary school. The father of this household told us, the Reform Party, that he has not taken his family for a holiday for many years now. This is because of the high tuition fees. EduSave is said that it can be used for education. I'm sorry to say, but a lot of middle income households, just like the family we talked to, feels that EduSave is just a gimmick. Talking about housing, the HDB policies, there are loopholes. This is not what I say. This is what even housing agents say to even their clients also. For example, it is not the time you sign that you pay for the amount due for the house that you buy, but it is the time you get the keys that you have to pay the amount due. So, by the time you get the keys, the amount could be higher than the time you sign. A particular client who so-called felt cheated in this case told us so. Of this particular scenario, even stamp fees, my friends, even stamp fees can go as high as $48,000. And as for the company, it's from a particular company. Why I never say the name out? Because JBJ brought out this topic about stamp fees in the 1970s, and guess what, my friends? He was sued. He even fought as a lone man when both of his close men backed out, leaving him all alone to fend for himself for the good of Singapore. Those 2 men, you may or may not know who they are, but those 2 men who backed down, leaving JBJ to fight alone, are in Parliament today. This is seriously a question of moral integrity, value, principles and character. Now, let's move on to early marriages that the government encourages and the cost of it. Early marriage and NS plus the cost. A resident from Block 184C invited us into their homes to tell the following. So please hear us out. The resident mentioned it for the benefit of all Singaporeans to help him bring out this issue of his. So we are. He said that NS boys for 2 years do not have a proper salary, and by the time they start working, they are just 24 or 26 years old. So if these young men were to complete their degrees too, they do not have wealth and savings. Given this situation, then how can the government expect young children to get married early? We have an alternative solution. We believe that the government should provide a lump sum of CPF to provide for our NS men when serving 2 years of their lives in NS. Then we can consider about getting married early. They should also be paid market rate salaries and not just allowances. Also, with regards to housing, a couple who applies for a house has to pay a deposit. Due to unforeseen circumstances, if they come to a decision to not have the house they applied for anymore, they forfeit the deposit. This is just like a penalty of $9,000 times 2 equals to $18,000 for both of them. Is this fair and is this the right thing to do? This is people's money. Where is the money going? Furthermore, housing prices keep increasing. Our alternative solution is to resell the flat that the couple do not want anymore. This is definitely better than taking $18,000 of the people's money. It is not an ideal situation, putting couples in distress and discomfort. The resident of Block 184C also mentioned that many HDB housing and issues are not being brought out openly. We at the Reform Party personally believe that policies have to have full transparencies in its activities and actions as well. There is also another resident of the same block who said that in times of retirement, there is just not enough savings, and hence these elderly folks have to still work odd jobs even when they are very old. Education. Let's talk about education. First of all, education is not even free in Singapore. And teachers' pay is low for the amount of stress that they go through. A resident also rented out his concerns over his two sons' education. This particular family's problems just don't end with just high housing costs and their financial status. Their problem extend to their children as well. They were saying that for 2 weeks in a row, their sons have been bringing home homework every day till midnight. It is a well-known fact, isn't it, that nowadays our generation of children get easily stressed out. In fact, I also wish to add on that our whole teaching model is at fault. Their lives, meaning students' life, evolve around tuition, school, homework, leaving very little time for recreation, and for the family we talk to, very little time to even go church. The whole ranking exercise should be scrapped. It doesn't even focus on children's development holistically. This younger generation are told to mock, study. These are all only academic and not life skills. Their emotional intelligence stalls. They can't even solve problems on their own. The government is always looking at elitism to always find the top 1% to top 5%. Foreigners. Now let's talk about foreign workers here in Singapore. Foreigners are exploited, especially construction workers. They work from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and they get only paid $16. This is after their pay is cut for their meals, and so their cash at hand is $16. 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Only $16 these workers get paid. These workers are even having a need to share their meals. Each of them can't spend more than $2 per head on food for lunch, or else they can't send back money home. How do we know? How do we know this? Because we happen to be speaking to them. So we know. These are MOM approved foreign workers, Now, let's talk about white-collar workers. A worker from top IT firm in his own country is getting paid $1,500 here. Only $1,500. Now, why am I bringing up all this is because I want to tell you that the government can call it any name they want, foreign talent, etc. But we view it as cheap labor, as simple as that. That's the plain truth. They are coming in at our expense, and you think they are grateful to us and they appreciate Singapore and Singaporeans? No, I can tell you frankly that they do not. In fact, they don't even care. They neither appreciate Singapore nor Singaporeans. Some even look down on us Singaporeans, laughing at our expensive and meaningless lifestyle and many more things. Some foreign talent might say that over here is good, but they don't want to buy HDB house here either. They also don't want to raise their kids here. They don't know how our basic CPF contribution works. They don't even know what is CPF and many more things. Then how can you say that they are localized? And our government is trying to ask us, Singaporeans, to accommodate to them. In no country do they do this to their own Singapore citizens as second-class citizens, until Singaporeans such as pilots and doctors running away to another country to become their second-class citizens instead. This is a saddening fact. A resident from Block 184C said, and I'm sure you know who you are. You might even be here in the crowd. He said that Singapore's future is going to the new citizens. He said that even taxi drivers will be non-speaking new citizens in the future. And I'm thinking that it's already happening. Have you ever made calls to book taxi, or have you ever called a call center? Have you ever experienced your calls attending to by foreigners who can't be understood when they speak, or who don't understand when you speak? Even our trademark street names are not understood by foreigners by their original name. For example, Chinatown. Every Singaporean knows Chinatown, but some others from a foreign land needs our translation for Chinatown, and then they will know how to get to the place or where the place is. And our government is also translating for them. What is this? The foreigners' exchange rate is their luxury lifestyle in their own countries. This is at the expense of our lack of employment for Singaporeans here. And people like us, the Reform Party, and you, who are one of us, want change. We are the ones who stand up and will fight for our country, not them. The government should seriously consider this. But most importantly, my fellow citizens, you should understand this. Everything is high cost now.